Yes, Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
Yeah, I sure do
Yes.
from about 25 miles away.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta do the remote thing because the weather's being a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not too remote from you, Tormod. I'm in the next room over, so.
I was going to say, if you were, I'd be surprised. But
We've got a
yeah,
highly
if you want to go
scaling
see.
triangle going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you want to see a delightful photo of all of the delightfulness that's happening outside of our delightful windows, twitter.com/tormodwolf, you can go see a really sad photo.
Puke.
Yeah,
I don't need to
exactly.
see the photo. I can just look out my window and see the exact same gosh dang thing.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And be angry. But I will save being angry for about 2 hours until we're done with insert credits here. Round 75, World of Ruin.
Aptly named, thank you, me.
I suppose
Yeah,
so. Do you think the world is ruined? Well, that's a loaded question. I shouldn't
I'm,
answer
I'm
that.
gonna want to know what that's a
Wow.
reference to.
Oh, that's a reference to FF6, of course.
Yes.
See, I thought
yes,
so,
yes.
but like,
But I mean, like, it fits in so many ways.
Yes, but I'm like, I was looking through our news items. I'm like, does that relate?
I mean, does it always?
We're getting ruined by snow. Does that count?
Oh, you know what? I will go with that.
I mean,
That's what I'm
that
gonna
was
go
one
with.
angle for it.
Yeah. So anyway,
Well, welcome everybody. I'm MrBond.
I'm Tormod.
and I'm Saxxon.
You won't see them waving because we're doing the show remotely because aforementioned weather is being a huge butt. But you can see their little icons in the top right of the little camera window there if you're watching the multimedia. And if you're voice only, well, just trust us on this one, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
once.
really here.
Just once, trust us. But welcome everybody. Insert credits. Heck yeah. First one of 2020. That's important
Yeah.
because that'll never
Heck
happen again.
yeah.
Housekeeping. Speaking of scheduling stuff, we need to make a couple modifications here.
Yeah,
well, actually,
that's
just
fine.
one that we know about, I suppose, right? Because February, I believe we had already moved it to the 7th as of the last time we were.
Yeah,
around,
let me just
right?
verify that. Yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah, it's on the 7th. So that one's all good. March will have to
Mhm.
be moving to the 20th, so 1 week later than we had initially had it on the 13th.
Mhm.
That's all fine and good. That means there's a scant 3 weeks between now and February's show, round 76, and then a massive 6 weeks, if I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, wow, good guess. And a massive 6 weeks in between round 76 and round 77 in March. Do we want?
We're getting the one a month quota, so
Yeah, I mean that's the whole.
Yeah.
That's the big important part, right?
and we do have one in April.
Oh,
It's
we
on
do.
the 10th.
Yeah, the 10th. The 10th. Very good. Okay. Did we
Assuming
go
nothing
beyond
happens
that?
then.
We didn't go beyond that. That's fine. We do not need to go beyond that, considering our luck with making actually firm schedules. But that should do it for housekeeping. Around the world, the Master Chief Collection released in late 2019, starting with Halo Reach. Rumors abound that the OG Halo is reportedly next to be included, with some visual updates and other quality of life tweaks. I'm looking forward to
Cool.
that.
So then I'm not going to start that series yet.
Well, I mean, I'm not 100% sure like what the best way to digest that series would be. I think Reach is the first chronologically in the whole series, but of course Halo 1 was the first one to be released on OG Xbox 20? No, not 20 years ago. That sounds way too far. We'll call it 15 and hope that my bones don't turn to dust.
Let's find out.
Whilst you're looking that up, I'm actually really excited for Master Chief Collection because very shortly after its initial release back in late 2019, there was a couple patches made to Wine and Proton that allowed it to work in Linux.
Oh,
so I was like,
nice.
heck yeah, I will pick that up sometime never because I've got a big backlog the way it is.
So it's definitely closer to 20 years than it is 15.
Oh no.
Woof.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's see here. 18 years and about 3 months.
Oh, good gravy.
Okay, 2 months, sorry. But yeah, it was released on November 15th of 2001.
Oh no. Oh no.
Enjoy that.
I'm very old now. Okay, great. Thanks, I guess.
World of Ruin.
Right. Latest public beta update to Black Mesa, the fan-made / Valve approved remaster of the original Half-Life. Unlocks the full story, includes massive performance fixes for Linux. Hooray! Lots of good Linux news. I like it. Because I'm like one of 3 people that play games on it. So, you know. HTC has dropped... Oh, sorry.
So they're doing it just for you.
Oh, hey, that's even
Yeah.
better. Like, hey, if I
Uh-huh.
could have that kind of pull, that'd be fucking fantastic. HTC has permanently dropped the Vive Pro price by $200 from $799 to $599. I guess that's
Sweet.
good. I don't think I'll buy into it just yet. Let's wait for the next generation to pop around and hope they do better support with people with shitty vision, like me.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that myself because now everyone's like, "So hey, you've never played Half-Life before? Heh, 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 guess what you get to do?" Yeah.
I did quite enjoy the trailer for that. That was very good. That was
Did we
Half-Life.
talk about Half-Life Alex? I think it was.
I feel like we mentioned it last time. I don't know how much detail we went into about it though. But yeah, that
I'm
was
surprised
their
it's VR only.
that was their big Valve's big
Oh, yeah,
reveal that they
that.
were working on. And it's like, oh, Half-Life 3, Half-Life 3. No, Half-Life Alex for VR. It looked cool, looked great, and if you know the series, you certainly saw a lot of very familiar elements. If you don't know the series, well, hey, it looks cool regardless. So hooray!
Mhm.
Unfortunately, some slightly, well, I guess it depends on your perspective on this, whether this news is good or bad. But Stadia is buying up timed exclusives to have 10 plus available by July of this year.
As if, like Epic doing the same thing didn't already leave kind of a sour taste in the mouth.
Yeah, I'm hoping this doesn't become a thing for more than those two, but I have a feeling it will. So I'm not real super happy about that sort of business model, I suppose.
Yeah.
But whatever, I guess. If there's a pass harder than a hard pass, I'll take it on Stadia. But if it works for them, it's, I guess, whatever. It's fine. That's all I got for Around the World. Well, what else has been happening?
All right. Well, the Final Fantasy VII remake has definitely been on everyone's radar lately as we've been approaching the release date. Unfortunately, that date has changed. It was supposed to be Tuesday, the 3rd of March, which Tuesday? Question mark. But they ended up moving it to Friday, the 10th of April, which is arguably better because that's going to be over Easter weekend, which is why I wanted to put a big asterisk next to, hey, when's our show next? Because that's happening. So, yeah. The remake's demo has also leaked because it was posted to the PlayStation Store and people found on the back-end server side where to download it, and of course they've data mined it, and oh boy, don't go looking
This
because
is why we can't have nice things.
massive spoilers because the story has changed a little because it's new.
Oh, did you spoil yourself?
No, I didn't, because you have to consider that this is a full feature-length game that's only in Midgar. What the hell are they going to do other than expand upon it?
Oh,
So,
fair.
plus the trailers kind of give you hints of things. So I've deliberately not gone looking for things like that and just saw this news and was like, and I'm done. So, yeah.
That's about where I
Um,
would have left it.
right. So at this point, it's set to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive for 1 year, which we talked about last time. It's supposedly, makes one think that, this might be coming out to PC eventually. And, certain games are finally coming out to PC now, so that's kind of neat. Horizon Zero Dawn is supposedly, allegedly going to be coming out to PC when it was a PlayStation 4 exclusive. So heard that yesterday, but it wasn't like super confirmed, but just on the same topic, I guess. But on the Nintendo side, the Switch console, supposedly sales have gone above 50 million units globally, and more rumors with the Switch, supposedly that Pro model is actually going to be a thing in 2020. So we'll see about that. And of course, between last show and this, every year has it. Awesome Games Done Quick. The 2020 edition has been I guess a repeat achievement every time for the last couple marathons now. They've surpassed their entire donation total record with a final total of $3,133,062.78. That's a
Dang.
lot of money.
78 cents. Gotta get
Well
that in
done.
Hey, I mean, they're only 9 cents off.
Yeah. Well, they
I
tried.
suppose. Yeah. I mean, you can't win them all.
That's true. But that is a lot of money. And this time, remind me, it's PCF that it went to Prevent Cancer Foundation. Yes? I think that's a GDQ.
Yes. Yep. I had to remember which one was which for a second. Yes, that is right.
Yeah, because okay, yes. DSF is the other one, and that's in French, and I always butcher it.
MSF.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
MSF.
I was combining two languages in my head.
You
Great.
were. I mean, that's okay, but
Yeah.
MSF.
No, DSF is somebody from Twitch, not the same. Got it. All right, cool.
Okay. I'll take your word
That
for
is. Oh yeah,
Dr.
that's all I got for
Spencer's
news.
ears. I love it. All right, and yeah, so VVVVVV 6Vs. Did I do that right?
Yep, that's
The
right
source
amount.
code was released. And people are finding some very interesting things in there. So like the you know, how many lines of code was it? Just like a giant switch statement and stuff like that.
4,000 some, I believe, was the
Yep,
Yeah,
the
it's
4,000,
line count.
something
case switch
absolutely ridiculous.
Oh.
But yeah, so the author released it right on GitHub. There's like a non-commercial license attached to it. But yeah, it's all there. It's all, kind of play around with it. So yeah, there's that. So of course I've got WoW news like every single time.
Oh.
And the yeah, so Blizzard released a new large content patch. It is titled The Visions of N'Zoth. And it's it's kind of like this whole like we saw a prophecy thing and bad things are going to happen, but somehow the heroes are like resistant to its effects. So let's go ahead and use that to our advantage and blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of the thing that they're playing with. They also released the unlock chains for both the Mechanome races, or the Mechanome race for the Alliance, and the Valpyra race for the Horde, which are modeled after Fennec foxes and the cutest dang things on the planet. So I have to make mention. Anyway, so there's that. The pre-patch for like Blackwing Lair and stuff like that is also out for WoW Classic. So yeah, they're kind of progressing on both fronts, which is pretty cool. And then finally some local game dev news that I've got. Clockwork Giant has been working on Vulpine. The tagline like "Be a fox with a sword," that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
I backed them some time ago, and they've been consistently releasing new updates every single month, like punctually, which is awesome. Like I was, you always have that apprehension that like a Kickstarter is going to be like another one of those horror stories, like they ran off with the cash and stuff. But
Unsung
they
story.
are, yeah, they are absolutely like delivering the updates that they promised and stuff. So it's really awesome to see, especially from like a local game dev shop. And yeah, their December release showcases like the tutorial and some of the battle system and stuff. And yeah, it kind of shows off like how they highlight danger zones and stuff on the terrain, like don't stand in this and stuff like that, as part of the battle system. So really pumped to see how things go with that.
So what you're saying is all of these places in town that are suddenly game studios we're aware of, we need to, do a thing.
Look, I'm gonna make a tour of this city and go and say hello to everyone at some point. I swear, like that's something that I just really got to do.
I mean, yeah, there's people and they make games. They're probably nerds.
Yeah,
Probably. This is being awful generous there. They are absolutely nerds.
Well, I know you are, but
Well, yeah, of course. Wear it proudly. I didn't realize
Well,
Clockwork
yes.
Giant was local, though. That's pretty awesome.
yeah, yep, right here in Madison. Yep. So
All right.
yeah, and that's all I got for you.
Excellent. Well, we can roll into Toonski's Part 1 on a pretty quick clip here, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Destiny's Spire by Manji from Terranigma.
And a remix from Secret of Mana entitled Hallucinatory Province by, oh my goodness, this is a long list of people. I gotta expand the window so I can read them all. Sorry. Hallucinatory Province, a remix of Secret of Mana by Lucas Guimare, featuring I'm a Future Guitar Hero and Stemmage.
All right, and finally, I've got a remix from Terranigma titled Protectress by Nostalvania.
I sure hope we got some good gaming in for the start of 2020. Right. Don't make me a liar now, right?
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, it's not that much different than before, and a lot more like system setup and practicing, though.
Well, that still counts.
Oh yeah,
we'll allow it.
Oh, actually, I did stream yesterday, so I guess I should put that in.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
yeah, you should.
There, done. Almost.
Oh no!
Typos.
Oh, you should have just kept it. Should have just kept it the way it was.
Grenade.
Grenade.
Love it.
Well, since you're already halfway there, why don't you give us a start here?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So in my yearly tradition of throwing the December holidays out the window, I ended up having a friend over from the evening of the 23rd into the evening of the 25th. We were talking about randomizers for a while because, well, hooray, randomizers. And ended up rolling myself a V31 open seed, which I had never done open before. I'd always done standard. So that was neat. And about 5 hours later, I finished it. So hooray. My friend who was visiting Choya ended up getting a decent way through another seed that was supposed to be a guaranteed weapon to start with. And the guaranteed weapon that it happened to be was fucking Canis Samaria.
Oh, I was going to say 10 bombs, but all right.
No, it was real bad. Like, getting a magic drop off of anything was real bad.
Oh, it doesn't give you full magic when it gives you Kane as guaranteed start?
Nope.
Oh, yuck.
So, yeah, we ended up going down into where Uncle dies and grinding the small pots that was there. So that was neat.
He doesn't die, he's just having a little snooze.
Yeah, somewhere else, apparently.
For like 5 hours while you finish the seed, right?
Yeah, I guess. But no, I ended up finishing it, and I was surprised. Like, I remembered my way around T-Rock, and I remembered my way around Swamp, and all of the Light World dungeons just fine. Even Pod wasn't too bad. But, hey, Mire and Ice. Why can I never remember the maps for those two dungeons? But
those two are the worst, so, you know, you're not too far off.
I suppose. But no, everything else was pretty okay. I ended up finding equipment well enough where I could just be like, cool, I'm just going to kill you. And then things died. So that was good. I am considering getting more into the Link to the Past shenanigans because I've been watching Tom play a lot of things lately, which have included no logic randomizers. And oh boy, that's a thing. You're expected to use all of the glitches. All of them. So very entertaining at the very least. So y'all see other Tom in chat there. Go give him a follow because he's been extremely entertaining on that front. Beside, well, actually, no, I will talk about this because VRays/Vlad isn't here to say it himself. We recently did a road trip out to Seattle land, and on the trip, I was like, hey, guess what? You get to play Link to the Past because you haven't played a Super Nintendo much, if at all. And I kind of thought it was going to be one of those things where I needed to break out the restraints and things like that to get him to sit still and actually do it. But no, he kind of actually got into it. So by the end of the road trip there, we actually just finished T-Rock. We have all 20 hearts. I'm pretty sure we have every collectible.
Nice.
So well basically, done. We just need to go into GT and finish the game. So, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. We ended up knocking out about an hour to 2 hours when we actually played things, and that wasn't too bad. So I did minimal guiding, I guess, but in instances where it just would have been frustrating, like certain things not doing in pod in a certain order, etc., I was just like, yeah, just turn around and go that way, etc. So, yeah. But yeah, no, that was fun. We're going to finish that up in a week, I guess, and then possibly start another game. So that's pretty cool. Ended up getting used to using the OSSC, which is the Open Source Scan Converter 1.6, and surprised that it worked on most every TV that we used. Sometimes in DVI mode only, which meant that we needed to use an external speaker, but whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was really surprised. It worked out really well. But back to my gaming, I actually streamed for the first time yesterday in 2 months, roughly. and did the whole Tetris the Grandmaster thing again. And for explicitly labeling my stream as casual and not speedrunning this time, almost every time I played, I got S3 and a couple S4s, and I was just like, damn it, I really played for an hour too. So yeah, that was kind of okay. I got into 20G once, and yeah, neat. So I can't remember having played anything. Oh, that's not true. Wait, was it? No, that was Thanksgiving. Never mind. I was gonna say I played Mario Kart, and no, I didn't. So we're cool. I'm done.
I mean, you did a while ago. That's
I did a while ago, just not since the last show.
All right, fair. That's fair. All right, Saxxon, why don't you do your list since mine always tends to take up the most time.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'm continuing to play WoW Classic. Pretty much to the point of just raid logging now though. So and what that means is pretty much just logging on to do raids maybe 1 or 2 nights a week, and then that's that, like playing other stuff in between. So there's that. I ended up getting a new scaler, well, line doubler really, not so much a scaler. That still worked with my Commodore 64, so I've been trying that out with the games Uridium, which is a Schmicide, and the a game called Realm of Impossibility, which is kind of like a treasure hunting game, sort of. You get to the bottom, grab the treasure and get out. Still playing a bunch of like dance games, Dance Dance Revolution, Pump It Up 20. Since our last show, I did go and check out the round 1 in Milwaukee, that they opened not too long ago. And they had a whole lot of Bomani games there, like stuff I just did not expect. Musica, Groove Coaster. They had the latest version of DDR that was hooked up to like their like online EMU system, which tracks your scores, and you get a card, you have a profile, that kind of thing. Just really outstanding time. Unfortunately, something must have happened to that site when I went, where they couldn't serve food or drinks like at all.
Oh.
They had a sign outside that says they can't serve anything. There are other places in the mall to just get stuff, but so yeah, it's built into a mall. I forget the name of it. It's like Southridge or something. But yeah, it's other than that, just a really outstanding arcade. I would definitely go back and play.
Yeah, I haven't actually ever been to a round 1 because I always thought that they were like closer to the East Coast. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like they call Ohio Midwest, but we all know that's a lie. So
yeah, I don't know that. Like, I have different ideas of Midwest, but
yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I consider Ohio pretty Midwest, but I don't know what would you consider it then if not Midwest? East?
I mean, yeah.
Really?
Mid-East? I don't know.
Okay, Mid-East is fair.
So basically everything that isn't a coastal state is Midwest, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I don't know. It's been a time and a half since I've had actual geography class, so whatever.
Okay.
That's fair. But so yeah, I would definitely love to take you, and if Vlad happens to be here, I would love to take him as well.
And I'm sure we could probably get EI to go and a whole bunch of other folks.
Oh yeah, it's right there, far right? From EI. Yeah. That's like maybe 10 minutes ish, 15 tops. Yeah, it is not a far drive.
I think we were at Up Down, right? Or was that just me and EI that one time?
We ended up going to a barcade of some kind.
That would have been Up Down then. Yeah, that was a good place. I've never been to round 1 though.
Yeah, round 1 is like Dave and Buster's, but not, depressing.
But not depressing. Dave and Buster. Well, okay, it is a little depressing, but
I was gonna say, okay.
I mean, it exists around here. That's its positive.
True. We did get a Dave and Buster's. What was it? Early 2019, 2018 shrug something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Over in a depressing ass mall, but
Yeah.
Well, yes. At least it's not Midtown, but
No, it isn't, but it is next to a very large liquor store, so that's a plus.
true.
Yep. So in addition to the games that I played at round one, I dug out a couple of my old favorites. Probably gonna try to stream these, maybe run them even. Well, Master of Magic I won't be running. That's just going to be like I'll casually play that through because it's there really isn't any reasonable way to like make those run shorter or anything like that. But Extreme G2 is a racing game that I would love to dig out again and just see how fast I can make it through the circuits. Maybe do some like time attacks and whatnot.
Is Master of Magic the one which goes really fast depending on how fast your processor is? Or am I thinking of a different one?
So Master of Magic is turn-based. And it's actually one of the inspirations for me building just like this screamer of a retro box. And so every time you click next turn, it's got to calculate like everything that happens in the world all at the same time. And that's a lot of AI. If you play with, 4 other wizards, they're your opponents effectively. Like that's, they're moving their own armies, building their own cities. There's just a lot for the computer to chew through. But that's really not a problem for an Athlon XP. The turns are almost instantaneous, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was the one I was thinking of. Very good.
Yep. So yeah, and speaking of PC hardware, I also got some custom cooling shrouds, some acrylic cooling shrouds for my Voodoo 5 cards. So I installed them. They work excellently. Like, the case is super quiet now. Like none of those tiny noisy fans. It's like it's been replaced with like a much larger 80 millimeter fan. That blows over both heat sinks. So super excited about that. And that's gonna now that I have all of that out of the way, I can start streaming like Dawson and Windows 98 stuff again. So that, and gosh, there's one other game that I forgot to list here, and now I'm trying to remember what it was. If I think of it, I'll mention it. It's another Commodore 64 game, kind of a budget platformer that's just really odd. I imagine it's something that'll be kind of entertaining to watch. That's what it was. Fearless Fred and the Factory of Doom. There doesn't exist a video online of a complete playthrough of this thing. That's how few people have really bothered with it. So
wait, did you say beardless or beerless?
Oh, Fearless with
Fearless.
an F.
Dang. Yeah. Could have been so much better with those other two.
Yeah, okay. I mean it's also beerless, and that's kind of unfortunate.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But that's but yeah, that's another really weird Commodore 64 game that I'm gonna have to dig out and play at some point. Yeah, and that's my games list.
Well, very good. On to mine then, which is way too long, and I wish it was longer. Hey. So remember Jamestown Plus, which we talked about briefly last time, had just released on PC a day before our previous show. So I played through that. It's great. I love it. It's exactly as fun as I remember OG Jamestown being. The remastered soundtrack is fantastic.
Yummy.
As always, the devs are a class act. They hung out on a couple of my streams, and of course that makes me super nervous and babbly, but hey, whatever. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I think I still have top 4 or top 5 on each individual level still, and probably both gauntlets. So unless people have gotten really good really fast, which is fine and perfectly understandable because they don't call me Mr. Mediocre at best Bond for no good reason,
Oh wait. Huh. You don't see it, but the gears are turning, trying to process what it is that you just said.
You know how people do the whole nickname and quotes in the middle of their name thing?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Get the setup going for that one. So I ran through the entirety of Jamestown plus all the individual levels, the 5 original ones plus the 2 new ones. tried all the new ships, did the Gauntlet and the new Super Gauntlet mode, which includes all 7 levels all at once, or not all at once, all in sequence. Just a real smashing good time. Myself and Space 006 also played through it. I picked it up on Switch as well, so we played through that for the goodly part of one evening. And I haven't checked the boards recently, and I'm sure we've gotten knocked down, but at the time we had #1 spots on all the 2P stuff, so
nice.
Everybody who has the Switch version, you better get on it and destroy our pathetic scores, please. It's an embarrassment.
So what you're saying is we need to hang out. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. I mean, you can play up to 4 players, and the scoring gets real interesting. It gets real hard to protect each other, but it's always a good time. So besides that, after Jamestown Plus, I started up playing Children of Morta, which is an action RPG roguelite. And I'm actually kind of surprised by it because it involves a story, and anybody who knows me for any length of time knows that I'm not really a big fan of stories. I prefer just give me the action, give me the game, just let me have some fun. But it was told in such a strikingly good way that it really impressed me quite a bit. So I went through that in about 3 weeks or so. There's not a whole lot of content beyond the main storyline, which is kind of a bummer because the rest of the game was perfect. Just absolutely perfect. It was beautiful, chunky pixel art style, fantastic soundtrack, beautiful painted vistas and all that shit. Oh man, it was just a real good package from start to finish. Loved it. Loved it. So I just finished that up this past Wednesday, and I need to pick a new stream game for this coming Monday. Of course, I haven't decided that because who wants to decide things in advance? For Shmup Book Club, yesterday was the first time I was able to participate this year. We do that every Thursdays because the previous Thursdays other things came up, because of course they did. But prior to that, in the very ending dregs of 2019, finished up with Vasara 2, which, as I was explaining last time, is a shmup, but you are heavily encouraged to melee, which makes it very, very interesting and fun and kind of odd, but it was also very goofy, so everything kind of panned out for it. Speaking of goofy, the shmup for this month, for January 2020, the first of 2020, is Sky Adventure, which is just goofy, goofy period, because it's got a lot of very not 100% accurate translations, very Englishy, but very funny, and the soundtrack is just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not great. It's not great. I wouldn't even call it good. It's just kind of there, but it just kind of it contributes to the whole goofy atmosphere for it. So whatever, take that as you will. The first quarter shmup that we're doing for 2020 is Zero Ranger. This was a game we had played as a monthly, I want to say late 2018, but EI would know that better than I do. It's a fantastic game. There is, well, not rumors necessarily. There's been talk of an expansion / touch-up of it, like a black label for a shmup or whatever. But it hasn't materialized yet. So we were gonna wait to do it again until that kind of expansion came down the pipe, but then I got tired of waiting, so we just picked it for this quarter. And besides that, we did a little bit more co-op with Space 006. We've started up Quest for Semi co-op now. We did our first one of 2020 last week Friday. Our continuing ones will now be the second Saturday of each month. So for February, I'm gonna look at that real quick. Our one for February will be the 8th. Schedules willing, of course, because that always seems to change. But last time we played a little bit of Fight and Rage. It's I don't know if I want to say standard, because that kind of means I'm kind of speaking down on it, but it's a fairly standard beat 'em up, but very cool, very deep, very very input heavy, but it played really well over Steam Remote Play Together, so that's what we kind of stuck with. We did try to do Jamestown Plus over Steam Remote Play. It didn't work out. Unfortunately, it ran the game at like about a quarter speed.
Oh no.
Which, we could have played it like that. We could have done really well with everything moving at a quarter speed, but it was just kind of sad, and we were like, oh well, better luck next time, I guess. So besides Fight and Rage, we also picked up Cobalt again for a little bit of roly robot shooting action. That's always kind of a fun game to do. It's
I would really love to get into a game of Cobalt with you and company again, because that was a lot of fun the last time that we did that.
And that has its own kind of online play, which works very, very well. So that's always kind of a good fallback if we don't have anything else planned, or if nothing else kind of works out, a la Jamestown Plus didn't. Besides that, I actually found some time to do stuff outside of stream. What? Cadence of Hyrule, the Zelda skin over Crypt of the Necrodancer on Switch. I picked that up. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm very impressed that Nintendo let an external team take on such a big property, such a big IP as Legend of Zelda, and run with it. And you can tell they have a lot of love for that series, because the way they did it, the way they executed on it was fantastic. They actually just released an expansion of it where you could play as an extra character, and I'm about halfway through that mode right now. I gotta go back and finish it, but oh man. If you like Crypt of the Necrodancer, if you like rhythm games, if you like turn-based rhythm games, if you just like Zelda, I would recommend picking it up because it's awesome.
Okay, yeah, that kind of sounds like my deal.
Yeah, it's
and that was also at one of our last marathons, was it not? Super Sigma Slam?
No, it was not.
No, that was Hyrule Warriors. I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, another Zelda IP was there, but no, Cadence of Hyrule is fantastic. Maybe we should bring that on for one of the casual things for Extra Life. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Giving me ideas here. And of course, I've also been playing my standard weekly speedruns with Assault Android Cactus. I've started playing campaign runs with mega weapons turned on, which is the first time I've ever used mega weapons, really. And what that does is it swaps the each of the 9 characters' secondary weapons with a beefed up version of their primary weapons. And overall, it makes the run faster a lot. Whereas with a normal run, you might be averaging, 55, 56, 57 minutes. Mega Weapons knocks that down to 45, 46, 47, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like them a lot. So we will definitely be seeing a run of that for Extra Life 2020. I got to get at least one cactus in there. That's nice. That's my jam. Oh, I guess I also did do a Link to the Past randomizer as well, a Key Sanity one. I opted not to do the Crystal Rando this time, so 7 to get into G Tower, 7 to harm Ganon. And that ended up being 2.5, 233, something like that. So nice. not terrible, but not certainly not the best.
Hey, I mean, it's faster than 5 hours.
Well, yeah, that's certainly true. That's how times work.
It is.
There is plans right now to put a Zelda randomizer, well, half of a Zelda randomizer, I suppose, of some sort, into Extra Life 2020. We're currently in discussions with the offending parties to do such a thing. So stay tuned for more info on that, perhaps next insert credits. And that's all I got. See, what I tell you, the list is too long, and we're into Toonskis number 2.
That's true. I do want to do one more thing before I forget again. So it turns out that there was some hardware announced today that is of particular use to marathons. There is a pro version of the OSSC that was just announced like 5 hours ago.
Ooh.
So they released a block diagram for it and a feature list of things that they would like to accomplish with it. And they will give more news once there are enough viable features that it could do that they feel like they can release it with the software that it would have at the time. So wanted to put that out there because I've been messing around with OSSCs a lot in the last 3 weeks. Anyhow,
fair.
Toonskis it is.
Toonskis.
Let us see. Streets of Mysidia by Rebecca E. Tripp from Final Fantasy IV.
And then a remix from Jazz Jackrabbit Holiday Hair 1995 by Luke Jansen entitled Green Rabbit Dreams.
And then finally, I have a remix from Mega Man 4 titled Cossack Skies Squared by Basilmaz 13.
All right, who wants to take first stab at the ye olde designs tonight?
I mean, I can do that because mine's probably going to be more of the same. So,
do I need to stand up and sit down again, or are we good?
Well, this time I am applying multiple genres to things that involve doing things to a rhythm because that's been a lot of hot topic lately. So I thought of my own again for the 17th time.
All right, well, proceed for the 17th time.
All right, cool. Title is Inspired. The genre is multi-genre plus music, and I'll get to that. A local co-op game or single player, it can go between 1 and 4 players. Your input method is a controller because it has lots of buttons. Graphic style, simple, clean, high contrast, but not flat. Give it some depth. Audio style, well, multi-genre because, well, if we're doing multi-genres of games, let's do multi-genres of audio as well. Point of view, first or third person, you can change your camera angle. Depending on the genre, one's going to be better than the other. So, the story here is a robot drifts between different dreamscapes wherein music inspires the grace and accuracy of their movements. From beyond the veil, aka you, something is controlling their actions to the beat of many different melodies. So the hook here is that the game features a wide variety of music and game genres. So as you play through different genres of games, you won't always get the same music genre, but you'll get something that fits whatever it generates. And the game will reward you or reward good gameplay with more challenging stages, which allows you to get more points. And the more points you get a better ending, that kind of thing. So your inventory is entirely dependent on the genre of game that you are finding yourself dreaming at the time. But your item usage paired with different movement techniques will add a score for your style. Style being done by button presses with flourishes that you do in time to the music instead of just flopping over and, dying in a heap. Paired with accuracy, of course, that is part of that as well, to climb on the leaderboard of score. Mechanics here. Use various buttons on the controller to move and perform actions while doing so. So, of course, you'll, in some instances, prefer to use a D-pad for movement. Others, you will use a log stick. So, of course, you have jumping and climbing and those types of things. But as well, you have those items that you might be able to use along the way or little rocket boosts or some such like that in order to add some flourish to your movement, showing off. Your objective is between style and grace, make your way through all of the various dreamscapes and achieve yourself a fantastic finale.
So are you, as the player, the one dreaming, or is the robot doing the dreaming?
The robot is dreaming.
Ah, okay. Do they dream of electric sheep, or is that just androids?
I mean, we can go there. That's fine.
I feel like I should apologize for that joke, but I'm not gonna.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Ta-da!
Cool.
All right, well then I will go next, unless you would like to go, Saxxon.
I can go.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna ramble for quite a bit, so if yours is
then we'll put yours as the last one to give you some time to ramble. We are making good time tonight with the show, so but I don't want to stifle you. So let me pop mine off real quick, and then we can leave yours to the end for the ramble fest. So I've been playing a lot of shmups, now and forever, of course. So I've come up with a bullet hell avoidance game. No attacking. You are just moving around and avoiding stuff. So the style is arena style, single screen, but able to take on different 2D layouts. So some levels might be a top-down twin stick, some levels might be action platformers, some might be Schmacide style, on rails type of thing. It's all one continuous round. You have to avoid ever-increasing densities of bullets, using environmental cover, walls, overhangs, or water to slow them down. Active dodging, if anybody's ever played Enter the Gungeon, I'm thinking of that sort of active dodging style where you won't get hit until you stop moving, and then there's a very brief cooldown between when you can use it, as well as using single-use items to, say, temporarily slow down all bullets, an omnidirectional reflect, a remove, or just a general repel of bullets, or a one-time shield to kind of give yourself a one-hit grace period there. Bullets will reflect around the arena for a given amount of time, generally pretty long. There are clear visual and positional audio cues of where bullet patterns and waves will spawn. So most of them will spawn in from the edges. So top, bottom, left, or right hand side of the screen, of course, depending on which 2D style that round happens to be in. Also from empty spaces that you are far enough away from, so you're never going to get just totally one frame bodied by a new spread of bullets. Thank you, most shmups. And also from fixed spawners in the level itself once it generates. The bullets themselves remain for longer as you progress through each wave or each minute of the round, let's say. Scoring advances more quickly the fewer actions you take. So the less you move around, the less you dodge, the less items you use. I'm a real big fan of introducing the sense of risk in these sorts of situations where, yeah, you could move around a bunch and go to a nice empty spot and be super safe, or you could stand there and get some real big pointos by not doing a dang thing. So you better do that because you want the high score. Everybody wants the high score. And that's about it. Watch, rinse, repeat. Keep going. Online leaderboards, dailies, yada, 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 yada. Ships 2025. And that's
all
what
right.
I got.
I'm gonna hold you to that. Good luck, developer.
It's like 4.5 years. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, better get started.
It's like 10 years too little, but it's a lot of time.
Well, there you go. Hopefully it's not 100% crunch. Right?
Oh boy, don't even mention crunch. Okay, Saxxon, it is all you.
Right on. So I've come up with a adventure time management game. Yes. So the premise is you are adventurers and you are out to save the world. But you got to do it on a schedule, because of course there's only so many of you and so much you can do. So yeah, so you have to make commitments to be at a certain place and a time for a certain duration depending on the kind of adventure. And you're there either to just like perform menial tasks, like help us, like, I don't know, mine some stuff, chop some wood, whatever. And of course some of it is just like actually fighting monsters and stuff like that. So um you'll be presented with a bunch of these different opportunities just kind of randomly throughout. And so some of them are going to be like, we kind of need you over at this part of the country for like 5 days or whatever. And yeah, so that's kind of like the general structure of like how things progress. And of course you get money and you get other goodies and stuff like that as as you do these different quests and complete them and stuff. So you have a calendar that helps you kind of navigate all of this complexity. And so it's kind of like you got your time blocks. It's going to show like the things that you've committed to. And that doesn't necessarily mean that like you have to be there. You can drop commitments and stuff like that if you need to. There will be a bit of a penalty in those cases. It could be reputation, could be monetary, and of course you obviously don't get paid for the job if you don't show up.
Nuts.
What's up?
Nuts. I like getting paid for stuff when I don't actually do things.
I know, right? So yeah. You also have to consider like travel time and travel expenses and stuff like that. So like that's going to factor into like which ones do I take, which ones don't I. And then even within the tasks themselves, there can be slight variations depending on random events. Like, for example, oh crap, this ended up being like, a much stronger encounter than we thought. And it took, however many more days. And it ends up overlapping with one of your other commitments, which you just kind of have to let slip. So it's just, just random stuff like that. And sometimes it could play out in your favor, like, oh well, actually it like while you were out chopping wood or whatever, one of your party members finds a really effective way to do it with one of the tools at hand, and there you go, you just chopped your time in half.
I get it.
So yeah, So there's that. As for the engagements themselves, especially the combat related ones, you can choose to either just, basically do it by the numbers, kind of like Fire Emblem style, or you can, actually like play on the, well, I say by the numbers Fire Emblem style is in, like, how the combat kind of pops up and like it shows you side by side and it tells you basically like how much damage you can expect to do and a crit chance and whatnot. The same sort of thing happens here, but like on the scale of like the entire encounter. So you can kind of see like mathematically, how things are gonna come out. However, you can choose to do the encounters yourself. So you can switch over to a grid view and basically play it like a tactics game, where you kind of move your units around and stuff like that. And um, there is no like permadeath in this game. However, you are limited by the resources that you have on hand and your reputation. So if you tank your reputation, or you end up getting irrevocably broke, that's kind of it. Like that's game over. Um, so if you fail an encounter, you don't get the reward, and then you also have to pay for any sort of damages. So it kind of, or you have to basically pay for failure, which really sucks. But that's why you don't like overcommit or anything like that. There will be opportunities to get paid in advance, which is, kind of nice. Some people are just all like, they trust you a whole lot. They're gonna just, shovel money up at you up front, or maybe they want to make it that much more enticing, that kind of thing. Because you get it up front, you can use that money to just turn it around, buy some more stuff at the store, which, in each town and place you go to, there's going to be like stores and merchants and stuff like that. You can still let those commitments slip. It's not very good for your reputation, but if you really got to, you already got the money. So you can just kind of let it go. And selectively letting commitments go is kind of part of the core gameplay. Because like you really don't know what kinds of adventures that you can go on. And some of them are like extremely short notice, but extremely lucrative. So it's all like, well, do I stay honest, or do I just, totally drop this and go and adventure in other things? Um, as you become more powerful in the land, you'll also gain access to, like more powerful and more expensive power ups and stuff like that. Um, and that can come in the form of like, faster ground mounts, or like better gear for combat. So it'll like boost the likelihood that you'll succeed in like combat missions. They could be like particular boons or tools, or just situational things for a particular town that'll give you an advantage. That'll help you cut time down. It's just a bunch of little things that can either cut the time or resources required down for things. And if you make it sufficiently far enough in your commitments, and you have a good enough reputation, you can then get like all of the different like peoples of the land to kind of pool the resources together to help you face the effectively the final boss of whatever campaign you're playing. And that's going to have like a minimum resource requirement. Commitments kind of stop mattering at that point, because it's all like, drop everything, we got to fight big bad. And of course you need to have the powers and resources to do that. So, and that's another game over circumstance, is like, there's a certain number of time that you have before you have to face big bad, and if you don't have the proper resources, it's game over. The land is screwed, basically. And that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Dang,
Yeah.
up to that like last point, I was thinking about Mass Effect 3 a lot.
Yeah.
About gathering resources to fight the big bad at the end, but in that game, you're not really constrained by the amount of time you have before you got to do it.
Yeah.
So it
And I'm
takes
thinking like,
a lot of the a lot of urgency out of it.
yeah, and I imagine like, you should be able to set the parameters of your game up at the beginning, so like for score and leaderboards and stuff. Like if you decide to turn that time limit off, and you can engage big bad at any point, like it'll take a multiplier away or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just little stuff like that. And of course, if you manage to succeed through some like really, really difficult settings, your score is going to be really outstanding.
So like Animal Crossing, but with but with actually something driving you to do something.
Yeah.
Something capitalism. There we are.
I mean that too, a little bit. I feel like there's a lot of Silicon Valley inspirations in this too. Just take the money and run type of things.
Yeah. And it could also just randomly work out that like you kind of pass up a commitment and like a town gets destroyed, but word doesn't get out. So
womp.
It can legit go that way. Or like it's kind of a gamble there too, because like if you skip out on something kind of significant and like a town just gets absolutely wrecked or whatever, and like someone does live to tell the tale, it's going to be a really bad time. And you probably won't find any more work from them ever again. So
unless you go tie up
how
the
quickly are
loose end.
you going to be corrupt?
Yeah, and and that kind of makes me think of like, you could play this the other way too. Like if you're just a complete douche the entire time, like how do you do you gain power and are you able to fight big good?
And who is big good? The other player that's trying to beat you as the big bad?
That would probably be my guess. Like maybe there's some other, like parties or factions or whatever that are like putting together their own band of adventurers. And so like you get far enough along in the game and Big Bad is all like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this alone. And it kind of sounds like we have the same goals here. Why don't we join forces?
Yeah. Or it's like the superhero movies where the heroes have nothing to do, so they manufacture things to make them look good.
Can't imagine where I've seen that storyline play out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So that is my game idea.
Right on.
Well, very good. All right. Well, we're at the end of the show here. Any final closing remarks before we kick it off to our final song and then go stare at the weather and be mad at me?
Well, staring at the weather being mad is probably going to be my agenda for most of today and tomorrow. So, yeah, no, I don't think I have anything else. Just anger.
Just anger. Well, that is not in short supply, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I'm MrBond.
I'm Tormod.
And I'm Saxxon.
We'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Adios.